Welcome back. It's still Morning Rush on Metro Television. We're wrapping up with health, and today's conversation is centered on cholesterol. We have Dr. OSEI OWUSU from Amin Scientific, Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital to help us with the conversation. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so cholesterol. What exactly is it?
All right. Thank you very much for having me, and a very good morning to all your viewers. I think the issue with cholesterol has become a national and even more or less a worldwide problem. Okay. Because many a time when people hear cholesterol, they usually think it's a bad thing. That's a baseline for everybody.
It's not?
No, it's not really that bad. You know, when it stays in the normal range, there's no problem with it, but it rather gives you a lot of benefits. So cholesterol is the principal steroid of all higher animals. Okay. So human beings are classified as higher animals. Yeah. So basically, cholesterol is more or less like a fat-like, waxy substance that helps our body to produce cell membranes, some hormones, especially the sex hormones and the like. Okay. And then it also helps us to produce something we call vitamin D. Okay. So, you know, it's not that bad. So if cholesterol is able to help us produce some hormones like the sex hormones, which helps us, for example, in women, the main sex hormone is estrogen. So it helps, gives you libido. It helps make you enjoy sexual intercourse. Okay. So if cholesterol is able to help us produce something like this, then it's a good thing. It's good, yeah. And on the other side, if cholesterol is also able to help us produce vitamin D, then it's a good thing because vitamin D, together with calcium, help give us strong bones. Yeah, strong bones. In older adults or the elderly people, it helps them protect their bones from osteoporosis. And osteoporosis is osteodegenerative disease or low density. As the women or the people age, they tend to have something we call a low density bone. Okay. So upon a small slip, they can just have a fracture. Okay. So if cholesterol is able to help us produce vitamin D, which together with the calcium help us prevent against osteoporosis, then it's also a good thing. It's good. Also, if cholesterol is able to help us produce more cell membrane, which is more or less like the gateway or the keeper or the protector of our cells, then it's a good thing because the cell is the basic unit of life. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So cholesterol is a good thing. The only difference is that it has to stay in the normal range. It shouldn't be too high and it shouldn't be too low. Okay. If it goes up, especially in our part of the world, because of our dietary choices, our lifestyle choices, we tend to have a lot of the high cholesterol. If it becomes too high, that's where the problem comes in. Okay, so that's the HDL and the LDL. Yeah. The good and the bad. Yes. Okay, so now that you've taught us what cholesterol is, the function, I didn't even know that these were the things it does. It's good. Now let's break it down to the good and the bad. At what point does it become bad? All right, my dear, cholesterol is transported in the blood by attaching to a protein molecule. So when it's been attached to a protein molecule, that's what we call lipoprotein. So the HDL is high density lipoprotein, what people usually call good cholesterol. Okay. And then the LDL is low density lipoprotein. Those are the two main types of lipoproteins. We have other ones, very low density lipoproteins. We have triglycerides but the two main ones are the high density lipoprotein, good cholesterol, and then the low density lipoprotein. The main function of the low density lipoprotein is that it's supposed to transport oxygen to all the parts of the body. And it does that by being in the blood, that's the blood vessels. So as it's being as it's transporting cholesterol to other parts of the body, it basically leaves deposits of the cholesterol in the blood vessels. And this can cause blockage of the arteries. Okay. And when the arteries are being blocked or narrowed, it can trigger a lot of conditions. Chest pain, severe chest pain, what we call angina. It can trigger cardiac arrest, heart attack, stroke, and the likes. Yeah. Is it because of the deposits that it leaves in the blood vessels? Okay. That's why people usually refer to it as bad cholesterol. On the other side, the high density lipoprotein picks up the excess cholesterol in the blood vessels and transports it back to the liver. You know, cholesterol is being produced in the liver. So if cholesterol is being taken back from the blood vessels to the liver. That's where it's supposed to be. So it doesn't really give you a problem.
Yeah.
But if the low density is depositing too much in the blood vessels, then it can block it and trigger a whole lot of conditions. That's why people refer it as high, good, and then bad cholesterol.
Yeah. So the high picks up what's the excess, the LDL left
in the blood vessels,
in the blood vessel,
and then transport it back to the liver. Yeah.
So, like I said, at what point does it become excess? Is it per our lifestyle, or something's go on in the body or the immune system? How does it happen? How does it become excess?
All right. Thank you very much. Cholesterol becomes excess in, I think, a couple of ways. So the first one is that if your dietary choices are very poor, you tend to have a lot of high cholesterol. Dietary choices in the sense that some people just eat anyhow, and the timing with which they eat are very bad. Imagine people working and closing around 8 p.m. They just eat anything at all. Red meat, fatty foods, a lot. The burgers, the pizzas, they just take it, any amount that they can take, they just take it, and then afterwards, no exercise. They don't even watch television for an hour, they just go straight to bed. Because of that, the fatty deposit will lead to a lot of accumulation of cholesterol in your body. On the other side, people don't exercise enough. Especially in our era, in our time. You know, olden days, few examples, they used to have just normal staircases, no elevators, and then they didn't even in the room, they didn't have remote. Now, when you are watching a television, and then maybe then you are supposed to change the channel, you have to walk to the TV,
towards the telly to change
so that movement of up and down movement was more or less like indirect exercise. But in our era, you just be on the bed, on the sofa, you just change TV. You see, so that part of indirect exercise is no more there. Likewise, when when they were climbing the stairs up and down, that was also an indirect exercise for them. Yes. But now
there are elevators.
Walk into the elevator straight. We are not saying it's not good. You know, technology is very good when you use it wisely. But the point is that once these indirect exercises are no more available, we need to make sure we make conscious effort to exercise. A lot of people live sedentary lifestyle. They just walk into, like, be in their car, drive to the workplace, walk to their office, and then the other way around. So in their car, office, after office, in their car, in their home. No form of exercise. So because of that, the cholesterol tends to shoot up. If you exercise, you tend to burn a lot of cholesterol. And whilst you are burning this cholesterol, it helps you and enhance a better blood circulation. But these days, we don't really do that. And that's a very big problem to us.
Are there drugs that can be prescribed when you have, or when your cholesterol is higher? And are those drugs, are they good for our body?
All right, I will say there are medications. Yes, there are the statins and the likes. You know, statins are able to suppress the liver from making too much cholesterol. So if it's able to suppress the liver from making too much cholesterol, it means the ones that will be in your blood wouldn't be too much, because at the end of the day, the liver is not able to produce more. So it will more or less call back the ones deposited in the blood vessels and then utilize those ones. So that's good for us. But if you take it for a very long time, you know, every medication has a side effect. Yes. So if you take it for a very long time, it tends to also give you small issues, because it can reduce the density of the blood, and then circulation can be too fast. When the blood flows too at a very faster rate, it can give you a lot of palpitations and the likes. So that can also trigger some form of issues or medical issues. You know, cholesterol, it's like something that we can't do without it. So the fact that we can't do without it, it means we should be able to manage it carefully. Like I said earlier on, if it stays within the normal range, you wouldn't get any problem. You see, let's say cholesterol is very low in your system. The fact that it's too low in your system, it means it can't help you produce vitamin D.
Yeah.
So that's a problem to you. Vitamin D also helps fight inflammations. Inflammations can give you general body pains and the likes.
Yeah.
Vitamin D, as I said earlier on, also help strengthen your bones together with the calcium. So it prevents osteoporosis. So if your cholesterol is too low, you wouldn't get enough to produce
there's a
vitamin
problem.
D.
And then when it's high,
yes,
it's a problem.
There's a problem. So when it's too high, that's where the bigger problem is, because in our part of the world, we tend to have that a lot.
Yeah, we are wrapping up the conversation very soon, but then if it's very high, are there signs and symptoms you get to see that, oh, my cholesterol is high?
Basically, if your cholesterol is high, especially at the early stages, you don't really get any signs and symptoms. But when it becomes too much, then you tend to get a lot of chest pains. When you get these chest pains, at some point you realize you become very heavy. You know, cholesterol, it's more or less a fat. And fatty products, it takes a lot of time for it to be broken down.
Yeah.
Yes. So it makes you very heavy, and if you don't take care, by the time you realize, you become obese.
Yeah.
And obesity can trigger a lot of medical conditions.
Doc, and you're from Scientific Herbal. What do you offer people who always walk into the hospital with cholesterol issues?
Thank you very much. Like I was saying earlier on, if you have high cholesterol levels or low cholesterol levels, you wouldn't know. So if you walk to Scientific Herbal Hospital, many a time or most of the time, anytime you just walk in, we are able to diagnose your system, check you up and see your cholesterol levels, and then we help you accordingly. If it's too low, there's a way to help it out. If it's too high, there's a way. We have potent medications, like I said earlier on, that can suppress the production of cholesterol, so that you can pick up the ones in the blood vessels and utilize them. You know, if the cholesterol level becomes too much, it will give you a lot of problems. So once it's too much and you are suppressing the main engine that produces it, it means the system will be forced through negative feedback mechanisms to bring back the ones in the blood vessels and then utilize them. So we have medications that will work in a similar way. You know, there are a lot of people who exercise, they eat well and all that, but they still have high cholesterol level.
I was something to ask that, because I exercise a lot, but then sometimes you still feel heavy.
You still feel heavy.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you feeling heavy might not be as a result of high cholesterol. Yeah, but many people have it, like you are saying. So if you exercise, you eat well. First of all, what's your definition of eating well? Some people, they eat balanced diet, but the timing is bad. Let's say all things being equal, the person eats well, the timing and everything is okay. But there's still something we call genetic predisposition. Your parents, your mom or dad used to have something like that. You see, the system is like that because we inherited a lot of genes from them. We still produce, your system can also overproduce the cholesterol. And if it overproduces it, regardless of how well you take good care of yourself or how well you eat, how well you exercise, you can still have some form of high cholesterol in your blood. But it wouldn't be like somebody who is just living and eating anyhow, not exercising, living a sedentary lifestyle. So all these things, when you get to the Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we have clinical psychologists, we have therapists, we have doctors who will guide you to manage, and then we don't really eliminate cholesterol from your system because they are a good side of it.
You just manage it.
Yes, we have doctors that can help you manage it so well, and then by God's grace, you'll be fine. Dr.
OSEI OWUSU, thank you very much for the dedication this morning. We really appreciate that. And to find Scientific, there are numbers on your screens. You can pick them up and just give them a call or walk into any of their hospitals, their facilities, and they will be very, very helpful to you. Thanks for watching.